rally, the proceeds of which are to go towards the building of a new village hall for Marsh Gibbon, gave visitors an opportunity of seeing vintage and veteran machines under actual working conditions, demonstrating land cultivation through the ages. A week before the rally, the fields were prepared for the occasion. These are owned by Mr. Benfield and cover about 237 acres. The wheat is cut and stacked for thrashing on the weekend of the rally. Many of the helpers had not done this sort of work before. After clearing the wheat, stakes are driven into the ground to form the boundary of the main arena. Mr. Ian Gore and Mr. Ted Bailey were in charge of this operation. A short service opened the rally on Sunday afternoon, conducted by the Reverend A.P. Peebles and the Reverend Reed.
And Jesus said, if one of you has 100 sheep and loses one of them, when I was looking for a text to speak on today, a friend of mine brought up a verse of an old song, and some of you may remember it. Elisha was a prophet who attended country fairs, who advertised his business with a pair of dancing bears. For the first engine in the arena is one of the rollers.
After the service came the grand parade of entries, headed by Mr. Green's Aveling and Porter roller from Haddenham, followed by Mr. Dennis Smith's roller from Tipping Norton, and then Mr. Ted Freeman's from Doddington, driven by Mr. John Batsford. Last of the rollers is Mr. Brian Wallington's Cantankerous.
What kind of stage was you in when you got it? I've been working up to about 2 years.
Next comes the Fowler Engine Enterprise, followed by Mr. Peter Fagg's Clayton and Shuttleworth engine, which is originally from Kent and has now found a new home in Wiltshire. Next, Marshall track to Winifred, and Mr. Fred Simmons' Fowler General Purpose engine Volunteer, which has successfully been fitted with rubber tractor tyres. The Sherman's engine Renown completes the steam section. The present owners of this engine are A&R Hawthorne and Sons, and Mr. Ran Hawthorne is editor of Steaming, which is the journal of the National Tractor Engine Club, whose invaluable advice helped to make this rally a success. These are followed by Mr. Plowright with his greys. Tractors are next, led by Mr. Chalky White with his Fordson Quo Vadis, then Mr. Pope on another Fordson, and Mr. Barry Plant on an International Model A. The Herring Brothers Oliver 90 is next, and they also own the Lance Bulldog Tracklayer. Other tractors are the Alice Chalmers Model B and Model WC, Field Marshals Mark 1 and 2, an International F12 pulling a riding plough, an International 1020, another Field Marshal, and an International W9. Veteran bicycles in the parade included a Bone Shaker, cross-frame safety bicycles, a ladies' safety bicycle, a Dursley Henderson bicycle, and also an invalid chair. A large collection of vintage and veteran motorcycles and cars drew a great deal of interest from the spectators. 3 rally traps owned by Mrs. Hosier, Mrs. Booth and Mr. Diaz are driven by their owners and complete the Grand Parade. Next in the arena is an interesting demonstration by a Merryweather. Roast ox was served on the Saturday afternoon, although the ox had been roasting for 19 hours prior to this. Master of the roast was Mr. Lionel Rawlings. The ox, a Hereford butcher, Mr. Frank Cross. When prepared for the spit, the ox weighed 4.5 hundredweights. Nearly 1,000 bricks were used to build the kiln, and 2 tons of wood were burned during the roast. 6,400 bread rolls were prepared during the 2 days. When the ox was declared ready for carving, the first slices were sampled by the Mayor of Buckingham, Mrs. Embleton, and the Mayor of Aylesbury, Mrs. Zena Williams, who showed their approval, whereupon the meat was carved and selling to the visitors began. A look now at one of the working demonstrations. This is steam ploughing, presented by Mr. Alec Ibbott of Bedford. An engine each side of the field provides the power, drawing the plough first to one end, then to the other by a cable which is wound onto a drum under each of the engines. steersman is necessary to keep a straight line. This particular plough was found derelict under a hedge. There you see the steersman steering the plough. At the end of a run, the plough is simply reversed. Once again we see the Marsh Gibbon Band, which played at intervals during the afternoon. This balloon was constructed by Omega Aerostatics of Bristol and is owned by Breed Balloons Limited of London. The envelope is made of treated non-inflammable nylon and when inflated is 52 feet in diameter. The wind changed during inflation. Due to a very light wind, some difficulty was encountered in getting the balloon off the ground. Aerial shots taken from the basket of the rally area were unfortunately not very steady. The Bicester and Warden Hill Hunt visited the rally late on Saturday afternoon under their master, Mr. Younghusband. After galloping across the fields to the rally area, they paraded around the arena. The demonstration of horse ploughing drew an interested crowd of spectators. The plough itself was kindly loaned by Mr. Brickhill of Inston. repairs were necessary to the plough and were assisted by the local blacksmith who had a demonstration stand on the site. Stationary exhibits. First of all, the Merryweather steam fire pump seen earlier in the arena. Then a Witt reciprocating saw, a Detroit engine owned by Mr. Gibbard of Padbury, originally used to drive a flour mill, an unknown early petrol engine, and a Ruston Hornsbury, originally used to drive a bandsaw at a Marsh Gibbon wheelwright's shop. The thrashing demonstration shown here used a Clayton and Shuttleworth traction engine to drive a Ransom's thrashing box and a Lands 3-band trusser. The trusses are finally dropped onto an Innis elevator and stacked. The elevator in this demonstration was out of action. Thirdly, we see Mr. David Wren Davis's Burrell engine Winifred driving a threshing machine and trusser. Outside the model tent are some fine examples of the work of the model makers. This Fowler ploughing engine is to a 2-inch scale. Next comes a Clayton and Shuttleworth engine, followed by a Fowler agricultural engine and a Fowler Showman's engine. The balloon taking a well-earned rest. At the first aid tent, many a lost child was returned to its rightful owner. An International 1020 tractor is here seen coupled to a stationary baler. Bales are formed by the operator placing wires in the bale chamber, thus tying the bale. It included this Bedford seed drill, a Gloucestershire wagon, a Muffler or East Midlands two-wheel, A horn gramophone and agricultural hand tools were all part of the John Hill collection. Mr. Lambourne, the local blacksmith, demonstrated the making of ornamental ironwork. The toast track buses were busy employed during the rally, conveying spectators around the site. Pulling a Ransom's 3-furrow plough. In the arena and demonstration areas, a look now around the trade stands and fun fair. Amongst the fairground equipment are this set of steam gallopers, built in 1903 by Savages and driven by a Savage centre engine number 6. It has 36 horses and a Gavioli 87-key organ. It was restored and is owned by James Williams of Basingstoke. Originally sited on Coney Island, New York, this American whip, built in 1920, is the only machine of its kind still travelling, at present owned by Mr. T. Prattley of Banbury. The flying chairs were built in 1900 in Germany. It has a Marenghi organ. It was rebuilt by its present owner, Mr. Keith Emmett of Whitchurch, in authentic period style. As a finale to the weekend, the Henry VIII hot air balloon rose in free flight and drifted away into the blue, looking like a massive accident looking for somewhere to happen.